This is Volkin's video about Jing Yuan limited banner and if you should pull or not. So yeah, let's get into it and see what he can say about it. So let's crack on.
Should you pull on the JING YUAN banner in Honkai Star Rail? That is the question at the moment.
Exactly.
And in
That's
this
what we're
video, I'm going to
looking
go through
for.
all the pros and cons to why you should and why you shouldn't and let you make your decision. I will also at the end tell you what I am going to do on my free-to-play account as well. And if you want a bit
Go for
more
it, mate.
information into his kit, relics, all that sort of stuff, I did make a guide on him yesterday that you can go check out. I'll leave it linked in the description. And also, we did just hit 110,000 subscribers, which I cannot believe. I can't thank you guys enough.
Congratulations, very good.
In this one, we're going to do a $100
giveaway.
Mate. Be subscribed, leave a comment, you'll go into the draw, and we'll draw it in a community post about a week away. More details in the description. But let's get into it. So let's kick it off with why you should pull for Jing. Number one, if he's your husbando, go nuts. Once again, if you just enjoy a character.
Oh my god, what the heck? I hate when people do say that, you know. If someone's watching this type of video, you're looking for information, should you pull for him or not? You know, if you want to pull him because you want the character, because you like how it looks, you're gonna pull for it. You don't need to watch any videos, right? So I hope it's gonna be more informative than than this. If you like it, pull for it, or if you don't like it, don't pull. That's dumb, but let's carry on.
Or anything like that. I think it's worth pulling them in this game. It's a casual, it's a PvE game. You're not competing with anyone. Go nuts, have fun. Also, like...
That's true. It's a casual game, okay? It's PvE game. But it's still, like any gacha game, it's not really turn-based RPG or any this type of game. It's really primary resource management simulator. That like all other gacha games. So you must be super good with managing your resources, otherwise you will just run out. And same with warps. So if you want to be good at these games, you're not pulling your warps whenever you just like character is trying to be as efficient as possible, right? So this is just stupid.
He's got a god. I mean, that's pretty cool. I also like the way that the Lightning Lord is like an extra character in your team, essentially, even though it can't be attacked, but it's in the turn order. It's a pretty cool thing. So if you enjoy that and you like him more than any of the upcoming characters, which I did make a video talking about the...
yeah, of course. If you're not serious about the game, then just pull for whatever you want, and it doesn't matter, right? If you're playing like, let's say 1 hour a week or a few hours a week, then just pull for whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But if you're serious about the game, most likely you look into the numbers more than the look of the character, right? And what he can bring to the table.
Next few upcoming characters, the next 5 characters, and going over that. If you want to watch that one, I will leave that linked in the description as well.
And
so you can have a look
very good,
and understand how they sort of play to see if there's one that you really like that you would rather save for instead of Jing. But in general, the first pro and the reason you should pull for him is if he's the one you want the most. That is the first one. Moving on from that, he is very strong for both single target and AoE damage. In the past, I have compared him to Zilla, where Zilla is a single target damage focused unit, but she can do AoE because of her additional attacks. Jing is an AoE focused unit who can also do really solid single target damage because of the way his Lightning Lord works with its passive attack. It hits randomly and hits up to 10 times depending on how...
So honestly, guys, champion needs to bring more than just damage to the table. He just needs to bring more, otherwise he will be power crept really quickly. 100% he will be power crept. I don't know when, but he will. From a champion, I want damage and some other support utility on top of that. Or debuffing. Or some extra, you know, stuff. Not only damage. So that's why I think this banner is not the best. Because it's just pure DPS. And that's why I think I'm gonna skip it. Alright, but let's carry on. Let's see what he will say.
high you've stacked it, and if there's only one enemy, it's going to hit that same enemy every time, and that allows him to, like I said, not compete with Zillow 100% on single target damage, but allows him to be a very, very viable single target damage.
And by the way, so far in the game, I think bosses are more challenging than waves. Like multiple enemies, usually they're not very strong, and you can quickly go through them. And I think single target damage is more important.
And AoE damage dealer, making him very versatile in the game, kind of like what Zila is. And that leads me into another point, which is his break potential. The amount of toughness that he can shred on an enemy to break them is quite insane. If you watch my previous video, we went massively in depth into the way the Lightning Lord works, and with its random attacks, the main target of those random attacks is going to take 0.5 break units. Now, I consider one break unit to be what a basic attack does, and when you look at it, mainly you're going to try and maintain at least 6 stacks on the Lightning Lord, meaning that when that Lightning Lord attacks, he's going to do 3 break units. So equivalent of 3 basic attacks worth of toughness shred on an enemy. If you stack it up to 10, it's going to be the equivalent of 5 basic attacks.
So basically, you have to answer the question. You want a champion who will break lightning weaknesses. That's basically come down to, do you want DPS specialist in one area? And it's a very narrow area. You want those specialists. You have Servo and you have Oncoming Kafka. And do you really want this champion so badly? Because you want versatile champions from Limited Banner, really, which can add value to all areas in the game, like Silverwolf. So for me, it's easy skip
on the toughness bar of enemies, and that's without even looking into him also using his ultimate and his skill throughout the fight. So his break potential on single target as well as AoE, across the board, he's got massive break potential whilst also having that really good AoE and single target damage. But obviously for the break potential, they really do need to be weak to lightning. However, if you get lucky and you save some resources, and especially for free to play, you just have to get lucky, and you can get him as well as Silverwolf. You can kind of alleviate that in the future with Silverwolf changing weakness, but that is a gamble once again, because
let's be honest, and you can with Silverwolf, you can pair any champion. You can pair Servo, you can pair Zilla if you have her, and then you don't even need lightning weakness, right? Breaking. So this argument is not for Jing Yuan, it's against him. Let's be honest, bro.
If you go to pity on him, you're probably not going to save enough for Silverwolf in the next patch. Now, another reason to pull for him is that he's really going to help early game pushing the memory of chaos, because once again, Zilla works really well in that. Because
and again, dumb argument. You are so limited with your warps and your jades. If you're not a whale, you're so limited. And you're not pulling for characters to help you early game, because it's gonna be more cost efficient just to wait for better champions and pull those, and then carry on with Memory of Chaos, than speeding things up for a month and pulling for a champion which is not efficient. You're right. It's not efficient at all. So don't do this for this reason. It's not the reason. The rewards from Memory of Chaos won't be better than the jades you spend on that champion, unless you pull him early.
Because she works for killing ads, and then she works really well on bosses. He is going to do a very similar thing. He's got great hyper carry potential, meaning you pair him with 2 offensive supports, and he can just absolutely melt things. And that's the way we really saw him being used, especially by the players over on Bilibili on the CN version in the beta. And because he's got such good damage of both single and AoE, that you just buff him up, doesn't matter whether it's trash waves or a boss, he's just going to absolutely nuke. So if you're looking to try and push that Memory of Chaos chaos in these early days before you hit level 80 with all your characters, have maxed out gear, have maxed out traces and all that stuff. He will really help you push that. The only other DPS character that I think helps you as much is Zila, and then obviously Yangqing for ice.
Exactly, per Zila with Silver Wolf, and you know, you do the same job with, but you need 2 teams, so it can be another team. But as well, you can do it with other characters, and just
Week stages is going to be a really good one, but honestly he's just a really solid all-round unit for pushing the Memory of Chaos in these early days. And the final reason to pull for his banner is going to be the 4 stars. He's got a really good roster of 4 stars on his banner, with Su Shang being an absolutely fantastic 4-star physical breaker, especially if you get her to E1. You've got Ting Yun, who's just a really good support, probably the second best support in the game in my opinion. And then you've also got March 7th, who for free-to-play players who only have 1 healer at the moment, getting those March...
Yeah, fair enough. This is a good argument. I mean, all those characters are very great. March will fall off sooner or later, 100%. But Ting Yuan and Su Shang are absolutely brilliant, and this might be the reason why we just pull like 20-30 warps. That might be the reason.
7th Eidolons, even though it's not a must get, if you do get them, it's never a bad investment when you're lacking healers and defensive units. So that's the other reason you might pull for him, is for those 4 stars. And I'll go through what I'm doing a bit later on. But also, even if you just pull for the 4 stars and get them and then leave the banner if you don't really want Jing, but say you do 30 pulls trying to get one of the 4 stars and you get a Jing, probably ain't going to be disappointed with that anyway. Now let's take a look at the reasons you should not be pulling for Jing. The first one is that he is a lightning AoE DPS. Now we did mention he can also do single target, so he is very...
Exactly. You don't want another lightning character when you got so many different weaknesses to break. Especially with Kafka coming on.
Versatile, but it's a highly contested spot in the game already when we consider that for free to play, we already have Sir Vol, who's fantastic, especially when we look at like being easier to get Eidolons on someone like Sir Vol. She can really excel in that AoE damage type area. She's nowhere near him in single target damage though. But then we go past that and we look at future banners and everyone's Mummy Kafka. And she is also going to be an AoE lightning damage dealer, but I also feel like she is going to be similar to Jing in that she will be capable of doing good single target damage because of the way she interacts with dots. So that is like a highly contested spot, and I understand that, yes, there would be situations where maybe you bring both of them into the battle. I 100% understand that, but I think early on, for me personally, I'd like some more diversity in the units that I'm building to cover.
Exactly. He nailed it. You want diversity, you want your character to be versatile, and Jing Yuan is not a versatile character at all. And the other characters will be so much more useful in other parts of the game.
Other different elements and stuff like that in these early stages. So lightning AoE is just a really highly contested spot. The next reason not to pull him is that he is a damage-based unit. And even though we do need good damage-based units, in these type of games, supports and healers, getting a good core is always going to be a really important thing. And if you are lacking that, that may be what you would prefer to look to. And the other thing is with the damaging units, if we look at the units we've got in the game at the moment, the ones that we know are coming, we've got Zila, Jing, and then we've got Silver Wolf and Luocha. Then we've got Kafka and Blade. So there's 4 damaging units and 1 healer and 1 supportive unit, which I consider Silver Wolf to be a supportive unit the way she works, even though she could probably do some damage. So that's the way I'm looking at it when you've got so many damaging units.
I'm not sure, but I think Silver Wolf will smack quite hard. I think she will be really not too bad. She won't be OP like Zila, but she will be strong, I think.
Units that will continue to come to the game, it's kind of easier for damaging units to be power crept. But don't let that deter you if you really do want to pull him, because 100%. Like we said, we've got Silver Wolf and Luocha in the next patch, which he's not at risk of power creep based on just raw damage numbers in that sense. So you'll get a solid patch out of him, but as always, my biggest concern for him is the fact that we do have Kafka, who's sort of the same element, DPS. If she's just better numbers, where does that put him? I don't know, but it's just a concern that I do have. So with those pros and cons out of the way, the list of pros was actually a lot bigger, but they weren't as impactful for me. When I
were a bigger list, those pros are yes. Of course they're not impactful. Well, if you really want this character, then pull for him. How impactful that is. For someone who's watching this video, right?
I look at myself personally, this is my free-to-play account. Now, I do have two other accounts. One that's a paid account, which I'm summoning for everything, and the other is a 4-star only account, which obviously I'm going to summon on it because I don't have Su Shang or Jing Yuan yet on it. But this is my free-to-play account that I'm playing using everything I have access to. Now, on this one, I already have a Jing Yuan, and I actually pulled myself a Clara, believe it or not. This account has been incredibly lucky, so I don't really need the physical Su Shang. I don't need a Jing Yuan, and I'm not too stressed about Eidolons at this stage. I do.
How he got so many 5 stars? I have no clue.
I already have Eidolon 1 on my Jing Yuan, so I am going to actually skip the entire banner myself, just because I think I'll just end up leveling up Serval, because I know she's solid for all I need at the moment. And then on this account, there's a couple things I have in mind. I still haven't 100% decided whether I'm going to go for Silver Wolf or save all the way till Kafka. Honestly, at the moment, I'm thinking I just go all in on Silver Wolf, and then if I get her early, then I go for Kafka after that. I'm not going to go for Luocha personally, because I do have a Bailu. Now, that's pretty much my plan. I'm completely skipping the Jing banner. If I did not have a Jing Yuan, I would have done some summons into it. Now, instead, what I did was I wanted a Pella to test Pella, so I just did 30 more summons into the Zilla banner, picked up my Pella, and stopped there. So that was what I decided to do. Similar principle, it's just trying to go for the 4 stars that you want. But like I said, if I did not have a Jing Yuan, I would have been going for that banner. And if I didn't have a Clara,
that's the point. You can build really strong team with just 4 stars. So having Jing Yuan or Pella is great strat. It's a very good strat to go for those 4-star characters. And then if you pull a 5-star, it's a bonus. And it's a good strat, it's valid.
Probably would have been going for it as well to try and get the Su Shang, but all I was looking for out of that banner was the 4 stars if I did do that. Right. I wouldn't actually want a Jing because I'd rather keep my pity going towards Silver Wolf or Kafka in the future. That is just the way I personally was looking at it. I was not going to summon past the soft pity of 75 because I'd rather be like just off the pity for the next banner. Go to it. If I lose a 50-50, okay, no worries. We'll just go to the next pity. That was my entire.
That's why I got over 160 pulls now, or around 160, and that's why I'm saving those for Silver Wolf. So I know I will get her 100%, even if everything goes wrong. I hope it won't.
A plan, but obviously things changed because I pulled a Jing Yuan and I pulled a Clara, so now I don't have to summon on the banner at all. The other thing I'm considering doing on this account is just purely saving for whatever banner has QQ on it as the 4-star, because I really want to get her E6. But hey, I'm a sad person, I'm a loser, I get that. But that is my thoughts personally. I even though I really like Jing, I think he's a great unit. Like he's like great for this stage of the game, 100%. I just think that by pulling on him, if I don't get lucky, I'm sacrificing too much in the future units that I could get. But once again,
exactly, that's what we're talking about, rosters management. You're pulling for a character which is not optimal for this stage even of the game. He is absolutely not optimal, and you won't have your warps when good characters comes around, better ones.
It's completely up to you. He is a good unit if you do decide to pull for him. And if you do pull for him, I hope you get him in the first 50-50, and I hope you get it in 30 pulls tops. But we all know that ain't going to happen for everyone. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have an awesome day. And don't forget to leave a comment, be subscribed to enter the draw. I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.
Yeah, brilliant. It's a good video. I mean, I don't agree with his pros. I mean, you can treat them as little pros, but they're not nothing big. Yeah, just if you didn't subscribe to this guy, it's Volkin. Subscribe to him. I will leave the link to his video in the comment section and in the description. And it was lovely to have you guys, and see you next time. Bye bye.